Welcome, wanderers of melody and verse, to a realm where the stark meets the artful, where simplicity frames complexity. This is the Black Box, an enigmatic space stripped of all distraction, focusing solely on the essence of music and the stories it weaves. Here, under the solitary spotlight, your voices will fill the void, your instruments will echo against bare walls, and your tales will resonate in the hearts of those who listen. Within these confines, acoustic performances transcend, becoming intimate revelations of soul and sound. It's not just about the music you've created, it's about the journey that crafted it, the influences that shaped it, and the future it beckons. As you step into the void of the black box, leaving the known world behind, who do you declare yourselves to be? And for bonus points, if your band were a mythological creature stepping into legend, what would it be?
We are Pen and Stu, and our mythical animal would be?
A sleeping dragon.
A sleeping dragon, because we're waiting for people to discover that we're awake.
Paint us a picture of your music style, weaving through your influences, textures, and stories that shape your sound. What makes your music uniquely yours?
The combination of voices and instruments. We've got tenor guitars, we've also got big whistles, and that makes us a little bit different, and it adds different textures and tones to the songs that we perform.
Yeah, and we tend to write about historical characters and events, so it is about, all the songs are about telling a story. And the words are really important if you listen to those.
With your music bringing to life tales of historical and folklore characters, what inspires your selection of these figures? And how do you go about transforming their legendary stories into your contemporary folk songs?
Depends who it is. We have a song about Grace Darling, and that was inspired by my trips to Northumberland as a child with my grandparents and seeing Grace Darling's grave and hearing about her story when I was very little. And years later that came back to me, and I thought that would be a really nice story to tell. Other things, it can be maybe we go for a walk in the countryside and we think about the lots of people who've walked there before, and that's how we got a song called Ancient Highway. And sometimes we see something or read something, and it brings the story into my head, and then I can think about putting that on paper and then bring it to life with melody as well. Yeah.
So we live in York, and there's a famous highwayman, Dick Turpin, and who was hanged not very far away from our house, and his grave is also not very far away from where we live. So obviously we did a song about Dick Turpin as well.
Feedback from BBC Introducing and other notable names in the industry has praised your work. How do these acknowledgements shape your approach to new projects and performances?
I think they give you a bit more confidence. Somebody saying something nice, it doesn't do to believe all the things people say, but it is nice when somebody does say something positive. It makes you feel good, gives you confidence to carry on and, do what you're doing and not be disheartened, I think.
I think we enjoy what we do. We think what we produce and how we deliver that is good. We love playing live to an audience and getting the feedback from the audience as we're playing. And as Pen says, it builds your confidence, but also for us, it's about engaging with more people and to get them to listen to our music.
Audience reactions can be incredibly moving. Could you recount a particularly memorable response to your music that has stayed with you?
There have been quite a lot of nice comments, nice feedback that we've had just last year. Very nice one was after we did a quite new folk festival. A gentleman just walked past and whispered in my ear, "Your voice is divine." I thought that was nice.
I think another memorable one was we were playing at the Alston Live Festival, which is in Cumbria, and we were playing on the Friday evening, and we were in a pub, and it was absolutely packed, and it was a great night. But actually, when we were walking around the rest of the festival on the Saturday, loads of people came up to us and said, "Oh, we saw you last night and really enjoyed your music, and look, I've got some photographs of you, or I've even taken a video on my phone." So that's great that they want to have photographs and video of us.
Engaging with your audience through weekly Tuesday teasers is a unique approach. How has this regular interaction influenced your relationship with your fans and their engagement with your music?
I just think it's improved our engagement with people, and sharing it to different Facebook groups or sharing it on various social media platforms. You sometimes get people that aren't actually followers, they've just stumbled upon something and they've decided to interact with one of our social media. So Facebook, for example, people just have seen it come up there as a little reel and they've gone, "Ooh," and they like it, and you go, "Oh, that's nice, that's not even somebody we know." So it's just nice to be able to get engagement from people that wouldn't normally maybe see what we're doing. So it means more people see it, and it's a really nice way of doing something regular. So people will maybe think, "Oh yeah, I know that they're going to be on Tuesday, so we'll just have a look and see what they're doing."
Yeah, I think it's that consistency. We consistently put something on Facebook and YouTube at 6:00 on a Tuesday evening, and people know that, so they may look at it on Wednesday, but it is being consistent, and we try to make them fun. It is a Tuesday teaser. We may talk to the camera. It may be a little bit of a new tune. We've even asked for votes where we've played 3 tunes and people have voted on which one, and we then played that song the following week. So it is all about engagement, and it's a great route to do that.
The story of Grace Darling in Road to Save Them All is a powerful narrative. What challenges do you face in crafting songs about real-life heroes, ensuring both historical accuracy and emotional depth?
I think trying to get the key elements of anybody's story into the song. It's the milestones or the really important bits that you can't leave out. So if you have a very long story, it's not just one incident, it's not just one event, it's a very long story that you have to try and cram into maybe 4.5 minutes. It's making sure you get the important elements, the key elements, the things that drive the story forward. I think that's the challenge. So Grace Darling's song was really just one event, but it was just to encapsulate that, exactly what would have happened on that very scary night. But yeah, it's just to try and make sure all of the elements are in there that are important, so you get the story across. And it is challenging. I think one of the songs, Pretty Bird, I think it started off with about 10 verses, so had to be cut down. So it's about being careful and editing and making sure that it makes sense. The other thing that's important as well is to remember that these are songs and you need something memorable to come away with. So it needs a hook, it needs a chorus, it needs something for people to remember it, because then they'll remember the song, they'll remember the story.
I think also the key thing is about research. So we spend a lot of time, if we're looking at a character, reading about them, or a character or an event, historical event, reading about what's happened, and as Pen says, about getting those salient points in there and making it a really good song, like say with a hook, a riff, a good chorus, or something that is memorable.
Your new 2024 album was highly anticipated. Now that it's released, can you share a sneak peek into the themes or stories you unravel, and maybe we can hear one of your new tracks?
Well, yes, absolutely. But we're continuing that theme. It's about events, so or characters. There are songs on there which we touch. There's a song about the First World War. There's a song about the Second World War. There's songs about famous characters, and there's also mythical characters as well.
Ready?
3, 4.
Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company.
The horses of the village shod, the smithy does what he likes best. Gambling with the local dock is how Tom Lee he takes his rest. They drink the inn's dry, heading home. Through the woods they swiftly go. Tom heads safely homeward bound, but the doctor doesn't show. Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. A body is found in the woods. Tom Lee, he is quickly blamed. They cannot prove anything, yet the blacksmith, he is shamed. A drunken fight for money, a pointless rage or jealousy. We'll never know the true tale of notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. Till Tom Lee is guilty found. They take him and they hang him high and bury him deep in the ground. Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. Notorious Tom Lee, notorious Tom Lee. You'd be lucky to survive a night in his bad company. In his bad company, in his bad company, in his bad company. Lucky to survive a night in his bad company.
Your journey from playing over 50 gigs a year while maintaining day jobs to full-time musicianship is inspiring. What advice would you give to emerging artists striving to make a similar transition? And how has the shift to being full-time musicians influenced your creative process?
I would advise just do it, and it's given us more time. Being able to do this and rehearse and practice and write whenever we want to, without having to think about going to work, getting up, having a day job, has made a massive difference to creativity. Time is the key thing.
I think it's really difficult to go from nothing to full time. I think you do need to build up your experience, build up your skills, and more importantly, build up your fan base, so that people will buy your CDs and they will come to your gigs. Yeah, it's something that we had been planning to do for a few years, and the opportunity arose for us to do it. So we've done it, and it's great.
Your music not only tells stories, but also evokes strong visual imagery. Have you considered expanding your storytelling into other media, such as books or theater? And what might that look like?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great question.
I'm wanting to expand on the low whistle kind of element of things, and maybe write some longer pieces of whistle music with orchestration and more instruments going on in there. I think that would be really nice. I did start to write some songs for a musical, but that had to be sort of put on hold. But yeah, that's it's a thought.
Yeah,
it's a thought.
We're quite interested in doing other projects, and one of the projects we've just completed was that we collaborated with a publisher. They hold an international literary festival and awards, and they actually asked us to collaborate with them on writing a song based on a theme for the 2024 literary awards that will happen next January. So we've been doing that over the past month or so, recorded the song. We've got 2 versions of the song, and there is a video that goes with one of those versions, and the other video is us. So,
Looking forward, how do you envision the evolution of Pen and Stu's music? And are there any new directions or projects you're particularly excited about exploring?
we already have 2 EP ideas, so that we probably want to try and get recorded and released this year. One EP is about developing some of the songs that we've got, particularly around the female pirates. So we've already written some songs. There were some songs on our first album. We're looking at revising those and adding more to that. And the second EP is we've got ideas of, I suppose, a mixed bag of different styles of music, which may appeal to people.
Yeah, I did the last couple of years, not this February, but the last couple of Februaries, I've been able to do something called February Album Writing Month. So you write 14 songs in 28 days. So I've done that a couple of times now, just myself, not signing up to anything, but just doing it myself, just trying to do regular songwriting throughout that month. And we've got some material from that. Some of it is the new Pirate Queen songs, and there's some other songs that don't really fall into the category folk, if you like. So that's another EP that we're thinking might be nice to put some different songs on something that is a little bit different and doesn't maybe follow our other genre of music. So that's the idea.
I suppose if people are aware of our first album, which actually, just talking this morning, we released it 8 years ago. So that had very much some Americana and country influences in that. So maybe this EP may have some of those as well.
Considering the rich narratives and characters that populate your songs, are there any new or untold stories from history or folklore that you're eager to delve into for your future compositions?
Oh, there'll be loads, but
yes,
off the top of my head,
I've got one. We actually we were in Whitby playing at the Whitby Pirate Festival, which was great fun, and we're due to play there again this year. But we were in a bar, and they had a book of folk tales that were based around Whitby. And so we managed to get a copy of this book, and actually that would possibly be a project we think, oh, that could be another EP.
Yeah, I did start writing a couple of bits and pieces, from that. That was really good. So that's something.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got loads of ideas. It's just focusing to get one thing finished before you start another.
As full-time musicians with a growing repertoire, what innovative approaches or collaborations are you considering to expand the reach and impact of your music, both within the UK and internationally?
Wow. I suppose it would, but like I say, we've just done some collaboration.
And that was really fun because that's not something I'd done before. So I was given some lyrics and for the song, and then worked on melodies and then sort of had a little back and forth with the guy who had done the lyrics. And it was a different way of working because normally I write the words, we then kind of work together, put it together. Stu works with me to arrange the songs so that they make sense. So to do that process with somebody else providing the lyrics was really different, and I did really enjoy that. So it may be something that we do again.
You did change some of the lyrics.
I did change the lyrics. I added a chorus. I put instrumentals in.
So yeah, I mean we've on this. On our album that we've just released, Ravenswood, we did work with other musicians. We had a drummer. We also had a guy who played some electric guitar on some of them, and another guy who played bass on one of the other tracks. So we're very happy to work with other musicians because they bring their knowledge, and if they make the end material sound fantastic, then that's all great. Which they do, yeah. So that's great. No, we're very happy to collaborate, and whether that's internationally, I know with technology such as Zoom and now, you could potentially collaborate with people abroad. So anybody out there who wants to collaborate, give us a buzz.
In the realm of live performances, what are some dream venues or festivals where you envision Pen and Stu making a significant impact in the future, and how are you working towards these goals?
There are loads of festivals we'd like to play at. There are loads of festivals that we apply for and are unsuccessful because we're still building our fan base. So if we can build our fan base and become a bit more popular in that sense, then the chances are we will be approached to play those festivals.
But having said that, we have done in the past some really nice festivals. You mentioned Alston, but lots of other ones as well. And we've got some lovely things coming up. We've got some couple of folk club things as well coming up. We've got, so it's a case of just getting your sort of your application together and making it look and sound good. And we've had good feedback on that. We've been sending our track Pretty Bird to radio stations, and we got some feedback saying that our EPK, our electronic press kit, was almost perfect. So that's good. So we keep sending that, and people can see what we do, see what we sound like, see what we look like, and then we take it from there.
But I think the other thing is with playing at festivals or any live audience, it's about giving the audience a good time. Yes, they're there to hear some good music, but they also want a really nice experience and enjoyable. And we do, when we're in a live situation, we do tend to banter between ourselves, and we try and engage with audience members as well. So
because it's nice to have somebody to talk to as well, isn't it?
You mean you're not talking to me now?
I know we do. We talk to each other. We talk to the audience if they look, like they would like to be talked to. And some people do enjoy the interaction, and they will remember that. We've done a couple of gigs where same people had turned up at another event that we were also playing at, and they'd seen us previously and said, "Oh, yeah, I remember you," because we'd been chatting to each other and having a laugh and. Enjoying what we were doing.
Are you the comedy act?
Yeah.
Before you play your final track, your song Pretty Bird, inspired by a Welsh folktale, showcases your ability to draw from rich cultural sources. How do you navigate the balance between staying true to the original tales and infusing your personal artistic touch?
Wow.
Ooh. I think, like I said before, it's just making sure that if there is a story, to include as much of the important stuff as possible in the song, so that it does represent the story that you're telling, and it does it in as positive a way as possible. That's assuming that the story is about somebody who is, for example, a heroine of some sort like Grace Darling, or maybe a less heroic character like Dick Turpin. But just making sure that the story has as many elements of their life or their story, their event as possible, so that it comes across and it makes sense and it sounds good and hopefully gets toes tapping.
Toes tapping.
Thank you, Pen and Stu, for gracing the black box with your enchanting melodies and heartfelt stories. Now prepare to be whisked away by the captivating sound of Pretty Bird, a song that weaves a tale as timeless as the folk legends themselves. This hit single, inspired by the rich tapestry of Welsh folklore, showcases the duo's exceptional ability to blend contemporary folk with the ancient echoes of storytelling. Without further ado, let's immerse ourselves in the beautiful world of Pretty Bird by Pen and Stu.
Never marry, and I'll sacrifice. But now I see you standing there, I will break the ice. A feast was had for one and all upon our wedding day, but evil deeds were done to you before we sailed away. Before we sailed away. Pretty bird, will you fly away? Will you speak for me? Across the stormy sea. Oh, pretty bird, save me. The giant king hears of the deeds, messengers he sends. The evil was not in his name, and he will make amends. So with new horses for the old and a cauldron that gives life, we sail away together, love, and I will be your wife, and I will be your wife. But I am banished from the court, my battle has begun. I was taken in good faith across the raging sea, to wed a king and be his queen, not live in drudgery, not live in drudgery. Pretty bird, will you fly away? Will you speak for me? Across the stormy sea. Oh, pretty bird, save me. I train a bird to act and speak upon my kind command, and send it far across the sea to help me flee this land. Wading through the water grey to save his sister fair. The giant challenged many men, and others would not dare, and others would not dare. We must cross the river, but it is full of stones. If we try to sail, we'll break our bones. Who is the leader? Let them be the bridge. I I'll be the bridge. A house built in his honour, with traps that are undone. The cauldron brings men back to life until the battle's won. Desolation all around and sorrow hard to take, and hope is draining fast away, and her poor heart will break, and her poor heart will break. Pretty bird, will you fly away, fly away? Will you speak for me, speak for me? Cross the stormy sea, stormy sea. Oh, pretty bird, save me. Pretty bird, will you fly away, fly away? Will you speak for me, speak for me? Cross the stormy sea, stormy sea. Oh, pretty bird, save me.